The tracks were already fading when they were first recorded. On the flat, pale surface of what is now White Sands National Park, human footprints appear only under specific conditions. After rain, when moisture darkens the sediment just enough, outlines emerge from the ground. When the surface dries, or the wind shifts the sand, they vanish again. What archaeologists document is never permanent. Each visit becomes an act of rescue, recording shapes that may not exist the next time anyone returns. These are not isolated impressions. They form long trackways crossing the ancient surface of a lakebed that no longer exists. Some paths are straight, others curve or stop and resume. Sizes vary. There are adult feet, smaller prints moving beside them, and the shallow, irregular marks of children. In several cases, stride patterns show an adult slowing, adjusting balance, and then continuing with a different rhythm, consistent with carrying a child for part of the journey. Nothing else accompanies them. No tools, no hearths, no discarded objects, only movement pressed briefly into wet ground. At the time these tracks were made, this landscape was not a desert. Beneath today's gypsum dunes lies the sediment of an Ice Age wetland system. Shallow lakes, grasses, and seasonal water sources created a place that could sustain repeated human presence. The footprints cross the same areas again and again, suggesting people did not pass through once and disappear. They returned. They walked the margins of water. They moved across ground that held memory, if only temporarily. The difficulty begins when time is introduced. Radiocarbon dating of materials embedded in the sediment layers above and below the footprints places them between roughly 21 and 23,000 years ago, during the peak of the last ice age. At that time, massive ice sheets blocked the interior of North America. The routes long assumed to explain early human movement into the continent did not yet exist. According to the established framework, people should not have been here. The dates have been challenged, and the challenges matter. Aquatic plants can absorb ancient carbon from water, potentially distorting radiocarbon results. That concern led to years of reanalysis. Since the initial publication, researchers have expanded the dataset, dating not only seeds but pollen, sediment, and organic material from multiple layers. Independent laboratories have produced dozens of dates using different methods. The results converge on the same window. The evidence is no longer singular, it is cumulative. Even so, the footprints resist easy incorporation into history. No archaeological culture can be securely attached to them. No campsites have been found nearby. No tools match their age in the region. The people who left these tracks did not leave behind the durable signatures archaeology usually depends on. Their presence is undeniable, but it is unanchored. The ground itself explains part of the silence. These sediments were never meant to preserve for long. Wind erodes them, dryness cracks them, new layers bury old surfaces and then strip them away again. Some trackways documented early in the research no longer exist. The evidence is not just ancient, it is unstable. Archaeology is built to work in reverse. Objects endure. Structures anchor memory. Sites accumulate layers that can be read backward through time. White Sands offers none of that. It preserves action without context and presence without residue. The usual tools of interpretation have nothing to grip. The strongest kind of evidence, a direct human trace, becomes the hardest to situate. What survives then is not identity, belief, or authority. Only motion remains. The footprints do not tell us who these people were, where they came from, or what became of them. They do not explain how they arrived or why they left no lasting trace. They show only that humans stood here, walked here, carried children here, and moved on. History usually remembers those who build, rule, or bury their dead in ways that endure. These people did none of that, or did, and the land erased it. What remains is proof without inheritance.